Hello and welcome to the Diamond Report for Thursday, May 4th, 2017. This is your host, Doug Diamond. And happy Star Wars Day for you Star Wars fans out there. May the 4th be with you. Always sounds like you're lisping. It is currently 11:39 p.m., so it's almost Cinco de Mayo, actually. But we're only 20 minutes away. By the time I'm done recording, it will be May the 5th. Anyways, we're looking at Earthquake 3D. Last 48 hours worth of earthquakes worldwide. Right now I'm zoomed in on the United States. And I wanted to show you that we have had, in the last 24 hours, we've had a magnitude 4.2 quake strike off the coast of Oregon in the Gore escarpment region, which is a very normal place for earthquakes to occur. And usually what happens is you'll have earthquakes up here, and that will filter eastward. So from west to east along the North American craton that I mention a lot. And just a few hours later, we did have some movement right away in Oklahoma, which we always say, well, actually it's right on the border between Oklahoma and Kansas. I think officially it's a Kansas quake. However, there's a lot of fracking in this area. The fracking tends to weaken the crust, and what happens is it creates an area that is more highly subject to movement. So when you have earthquakes in the west, they filter over to the east along the edge of the craton, and then you have earthquakes in Oklahoma, which is now the new Madrid seismic zone, because the crust has been weakened there by so much man-made pumping operations and well, mostly it's fracking in that area. But anyway, just know that some pressure has transferred from west to east there, and as we look at the rest of the globe, we still have a pretty good swarm of quakes happening in Alaska that I've mentioned the last couple of nights. They're in the Skagway area of Alaska, and in the earthquake update last night, my feeds weren't all totally loading in. I thought something was wrong, but we do have some quakes over here in the West Pacific. In the report I did last night, this was all blank. I mean, there was nothing that had loaded in really right here. So as you can see, it was just a technical glitch, and in fact there are quite a few quakes, mostly 4s, and we've got a 5 over here near South Japan. Then the other significant thing is in southern Indonesia here, we've got a magnitude 4.6 quake that's a deep quake, and even though that particular quake doesn't really mean much, what it usually does mean is it will translate into a shallow, larger quake to the north and west of where this one is, usually. So in the next few days, we should expect, based on this deep 4.6, deep meaning that it's over 200 kilometers in depth, this one's at 562. So we should expect, another magnitude or 2 more than this 4.6. So you're looking at a 5.6 to 6.6 in the next week to 10 days that will happen to the north of this area near Jakarta, Indonesia, southern Indonesia. So right now, that silent zone where we don't have any quakes is right here around Sumatra and going up into Malaysia. This area right here is the vulnerable area right now. And if you wanted to pinpoint it, it would be the fulcrum point between these quakes here and these up here. So it would put it right here at the northern tip of Sumatra that we would have to watch for. And also we've had a quieted off region here around Nepal, and that's another area to watch for further movement. And we've got a stack of 4s and 5s over to the west, west of Nepal and northern Indonesia. So we'll need to watch this area through here as well for further larger movement. So this quake right here, this 4.6 that's deep, isn't really that important by itself. What matters is what it will mean in the next 7 to 10 days. So we've also got a number of swarms going on still in the Middle East and in Europe. And Italy, it continues to swarm, and mostly just 2s though. It's not a big deal. However, for more information on what's really going on in Italy, I would recommend people listen to Dutch Sense on YouTube and Twitch. He has a really good handle on, well, obviously all this stuff. That's who I've learned from. But he talks about Italy and what's going on there quite a bit. So I would recommend tuning in to him. And really, that's all, I guess, for the earthquake update. We do have some pretty good movement, 5s mostly, in northern South America. So in the Peru area, in the last, 48 hours. So again, we've had, pretty good movement worldwide. And as I mentioned last night, we need to be watching starting May 8th when CERN ramps up again. They're going to be starting on the 8th and concluding at some point near Christmas. So the next few months is when we're going to see a ramp up of earthquakes globally, just like we did, I guess it was about a year and a half ago when I first started trying to learn how to forecast earthquakes. CERN was in operation then, and we saw earthquake after earthquake after earthquake that was being produced as a byproduct from CERN. A lot of them were 6s and 7s where you wouldn't ordinarily expect it in some of the same transfer zones, but the timing was right with a lot of their different testing that's going on at CERN. And it's pretty easy to keep track of the testing going on at CERN. You can tell on their website a little bit, but primarily if you listen to Anthony Patch, who I've mentioned many times, he does a really good rundown of when they're doing what at CERN. So let's move on to the headlines. ABC News claims the deep state doesn't exist. Mainstream media continues to push propaganda on the American people. That's a John Bound report. If that's not propaganda, I don't know what is. Why the government protects corruption. A look into the shadowy side of the U.S. government. Breaking, Apple just promised to give U.S. manufacturing a $1 billion boost. This from the people with the logo that has the apple with a bite out of it, referring back, of course, to the Garden of Eden, and ye shall be as gods. That's what the logo means. Anyway, it remains to be seen as to whether or not they actually bring that sort of manufacturing back here. I sort of am a little dubious about that. Bordering on insanity. Money for foreign borders, not ours. Budget resolution puts America in even more debt. Constitutionalists found hiding in Hollywood. A rare sighting in liberal California these days. It certainly is. I lived there for a number of years, and it is very rare to find any constitutionalists at all. It's rare to find a Republican, and even more rare to find a conservative, but it's really rare to find a constitutionalist, which, of course, if you look at the article, it's actually Richard Dreyfuss, the actor. Will the media stop making death threats against President Trump? Employees at Buzzfeed in an official work Slack during work hours hoped for Donald Trump to be assassinated. Well, why? I mean, he's giving you everything you want. If you are so in love with the deep state as a progressive, why would you want his death now? He's doing everything you want. Netflix edits Bill Nye the Fake Science Guy's episode to remove segment saying chromosomes determine gender. So I guess if they remove it, that must mean that it doesn't determine gender anymore. Is that what happens? Trump on Susan Rice not testifying, quote, not good. Some deep thought there. That's from The Hill. Not welcome. Japan, tough to crack for refugees. They accepted just 28 in 2016. That's the wall Trump promised. Spicer and Breitbart journalist clash over a Mexican border barrier. That's from RT. Julian Assange calls Clinton the butcher of Libya. Files request to scrap Swedish detention order. Hillary blames Russian WikiLeaks for loss, and Assange fires back. That's on RT. Clinton Cash author sounds alarm over Kushner and Soros ties. Series of explosions rock Madrid, leaving at least 15 injured. Cause of blasts in tourist hotspot unknown. Gee, let me guess. That's on the Daily Express. Al Gore's new movie, The Inconvenient Truth 2, leaked. Elites push global warming scheme to gain more taxes and more power. Well, that part of it is a scheme. Global warming is not a scheme. It's actually happening, and it's far worse than what Gore says. I However, they are trying to tax it and regulate it so that we all have to pay the price, pay the piper, so to speak, Al Gore being one of them. And of course, he's a huge hypocrite because he wants to take money that way, but also as a investor in many of these corporations that are doing the polluting. But that does not mean that global warming is not happening. It is. It's just that we only hear about the cool downs. We only hear about the engineered, fake, chemically ice-nucleated cool downs that are happening primarily in first world countries. So let that sink in for a moment. The rest of the world, third world countries in particular, are melting and burning. However, first world countries, for the most part, are being chemically cooled on purpose through geoengineering. The United States being one of them, of course. For more information, just go to geoengineeringwatch.org and read some of Dane Wigington's articles on there about this crazy thing that's going on. And another leaked film. Ridley Scott's new film Alien Covenant leaked. Alien Covenant reveals what the elites believe. Well, I mentioned this last night in the report, and it looks like to me that disclosure is inching closer and closer. Now, I personally do not believe in space aliens, visitors from other worlds. To me, I take it from a biblical approach, which goes back to Genesis 6 and the fallen angels descending on Mount Hermon, creating all sorts of havoc in their wake. And among them were what we call aliens, but they're actually hybrid beings that have lived here on this planet since that time. To me, that explains a lot more what's going on than little guys in ships flying to our planet to visit us. But anyway, for more information, just go to TrueLegendsTheSeries.com. There's tons of information on there about that. Video, Obama endorses Emmanuel Macron for French president. Interfering in foreign elections is fine now. Well, it is if you're Obama. Buzzfeed responds to revelation that employees joked about Trump's assassination. Here's how you stop internet censorship. The internet was taken away from the American people. That's from Jerome Corsi. Navy SEAL taking heat for shining light on pedophile darkness. The pedophile elite are running scared. Well, that's the way we want it. Ron Paul says whistleblowers are the greatest enemies of the deep state. But wait a minute. ABC News says the deep state doesn't exist. Florida University to award degree to Trayvon Martin. Nazi sympathizer Prince Philip retires from public life. Top globalist is almost ready to kick the bucket. And as I said last night, man, I hate the royalty. I hate the royal family. I hate everything they represent. But it's a righteous, indignant type of hatred. I wouldn't, spit on them if they were walking down the street or anything. I just think the whole thing is so ludicrous that we have royalty to begin with. But Prince Philip is the epitome of what I hate about them. Just everything that he represents. He is a Nazi sympathizer. He goes way back. He's also the guy that said he would be happy to return after he dies. He'd be happy to return as a virus so that he could kill millions of people. And if you don't believe me, here's the quote from 1988. In the event that I am reincarnated, I would like to return as a deadly virus to contribute something to solving overpopulation. That sounds about right, doesn't it? TSA's report warns against truck ramming attacks by terrorists. Report notes in the past 3 years, at least 173 people have been killed and more than 700 wounded in 17 ramming attacks around the world. Well, obviously, the clear answer is to ban trucks. That's where we have to start. Never mind the fact that ISIS trains their people to do this. Nigel Farage officially endorses LePen. Quote, if she fails, she will win in 2022. I'm supporting Marine Le Pen, announces Brexit mastermind. House votes on GOP healthcare bill. Republicans go for round 2 of attempting to repeal and replace Obamacare. More on that in a second. The gay mafia goes after Colbert. Left attacks Colbert for homophobic remark about Trump and Putin. And as I mentioned in Diamond Report yesterday, seeking El Chapo's billions. U.S. officials, quote, can't find a single dollar. Well, that would be because we're in business with El Chapo, first of all. And second of all you have to do is go to HSBC Bank. They gave the Sinaloa cartel their own drive-through. So check with them. They probably know. And here we go. GOP lawmakers head to the White House to celebrate as House passes Republican-backed healthcare bill. Quote, a case of beer standing by to celebrate at the Capitol. Now that's it. Just go get drunk and celebrate your healthcare bill. Little ironic there. Tectonic explosion soon to spark civil unrest. America is on the brink of civil war. Yeah, and Obama is doing this. I don't make this stuff up, folks. I just read these headlines as I'm recording. So I don't even see the headlines until I'm actually speaking them as I'm recording. Video, crazed leftist wants Alex Jones killed for brainwashing people. That's right. I want Alex Jones to be taken out for brainwashing, says tolerant, progressive, liberal. That's from Paul Joseph Watson. Just keeps getting stupider and crazier, doesn't it? Mandatory federal health care spending now tops how many zeros is that? Is that $1 trillion? Hillary Clinton claims Planned Parenthood holds morality's higher ground. Anyone who wants to lead should also understand that fundamentally, this is an issue of morality. Yes, this from people who butcher babies and cut them into pieces and sell the parts. Morality. Delta worker to dad. Give up the seat you bought or go to jail. Congress eyes crackdown on terror-tied Iranian airline amid deals with Boeing. DHS uncovered more than 60 cross-border tunnels along Mexican border used for smuggling. Why don't they check the tunnels for El Chapo's billions? Report finds North Korean elites increasingly oppose Kim's rule. Elites unnerved by number of officials that have been purged. That's on the Free Beacon. Congress to pass fresh sanctions on North Korea as nuke threat hits critical stage. North Korea only a few years from nuclear weapon that can strike the U.S. I wouldn't be surprised if they do have the technology purchased mostly through the Clinton administration that could probably hit Hawaii. I think that's one of the reasons Hawaii has been very worried about this whole situation. I don't think they could hit mainland U.S., but what do I know? I don't really know anything about their technical expertise. I just know that with all the failed missile launches, chances are they probably, if they got a missile in the air, we would probably blow it up anyway. But there you go. Hijab-wearing Barbie dolls go viral. Hijarbie wants to emigrate to your toy bin. Isn't that lovely? Speaking of hijabs, we have our special guest, Dr. Bill Warner, who's an expert in Islam, coming on to Lost Arts Radio this Sunday. So make sure you don't miss that. LostArtsRadio.com. It's right on the homepage for more information. Dr. Warner is awesome. He's one of my favorite people to listen to. Police, armed customer fatally shot attacker inside Texas sports bar. Good guy with a gun stops the bad guy with a gun. Again. Al-Jazeera films false flag fake chemical attack against civilians in Syria. That's on Sputnik News. Source claims around 30 fire engines, ambulances, as well as 70 local residents with children transported from refugee camp used in filming across 3 locations. Well, I wonder if they were union actors. The real reasons why Trump has flipped on his campaign promises. That's from Zero Hedge. Iran attempts missile launch from submerged submarine, ends in failure. Shocker there, right? Probably also blown up remotely by computer hacking. That's my guess. Breaking, series of explosions rock Madrid, leaving at least 15 injured. That's from The Express. Chinese city urgently calls for Korean interpreters over fears of imminent nuclear war. China says it wants to stay good neighbors with North Korea after Kim warned of grave consequences if it dances to the tune of the U.S. Obama's team asked for NSA secrets on more than 30,000 Americans in 2016 and circulated 6,000 intelligence reports without removing their names. White South Africans are preparing for the slaughter and removal of all whites within 5 years. That's on shtfplan.com. From Sputnik News, Satanic Majesty. Free speech win means Minnesota Park will get devilish monument. Chicago is a war zone. Police suicide rate surges to 60% above the national average. That's on Zero Hedge. Italian Prime Minister secretly meets with George Soros in Rome amid migrant transport scandal. Breaking, Kim Jong-un demands combat readiness as North Korea prepares to attack South. Satan created a crap sandwich and called it Obamacare. Today, this evil law was finally repealed. That's on the Gateway Pundit. Yeah, we'll see if it sticks. Shocking footage. Venezuelan National Guard truck drives through crowd of dissidents. That's on shtfplan.com. Now, who is it that drives through crowds of people in trucks? Wow, Democrat senator calls for special prosecutor to investigate Huma Abedin. That's on the Gateway Pundit. The bodies of 23 dead kids allegedly stolen for use in film of false flag chemical attack in Syria. That's on the Free Thought Project. And from Natural News, as healthcare costs explode, hospitals are now trying to force patients to prepay for treatment. And the New York Times refuses to use the term female genital mutilation to describe female genital mutilation. Again, it sounds like we're back on Saturday Night Live, Weekend Update with Dennis Miller. So stupid, so ridiculous. That's on naturalnews.com. Lawsuit says Hillary Clinton allowed pedophiles to adopt orphaned kids in Haiti. Yeah, the Clintons really made a mess in Haiti. The people there absolutely hate them. And here's something that Trump has said that is correct. Freedom is not a gift from government. Freedom is a gift from God. And that is what the entire Constitution is about. And from Sputnik News, Iran and North Korea could attack U.S. with an EMP. A nation without a soul. We have taught our children to seek first the things of this world and are shocked to find that they have no desire for the kingdom of God. That's on News with Views. From Skywatch TV, professor believes aliens may have existed in our solar system long before mankind, and evidence of their presence could be found below the surface of Mars or the moon. So more Mars stories. The Bible, the book that made America. George Washington warned in his farewell address of September 1796 that one who labors to subvert a public role for religion and morality cannot call oneself a patriot. That's on ChristianHeadlines.com. Researchers invent stem cell capable of becoming an entire embryo. That's on Futurism.com. Confirmed, Obama used profits from Fannie and Freddie Mae to subsidize Obamacare. No shocker there, not at all. Who will be the first to meld with the machines? Diabetics. That's on Wired.com. China guts free speech. Censors news media and raids homes of Christian leaders. That's on ChristianTruther.com. Former president of Merck led secret biowarfare program influencing experiments on Americans. That's on blacklistednews.com. And again, Russian bombers and fighter jets fly near Alaska, prompting an Air Force escort. That's on Fox News. Why the retail crisis could be coming to American groceries. These 5 forces are going to shake up the American supermarket. That's on Bloomberg. Did Trump get thumped or supporters get dumped? And Steve says, I believe God used President Trump to expose the dark side and now is being swallowed up by it. My only question is how long before the U.S. is nuked? That's a great question. That goes back to, Trump being the prosecuting attorney for God. And I think that just to take this a step further with Trump's own protection, you still have a lot of people out there that want to kill him. If he's not doing God's work, in other words, if he's giving into the dark side, as it were, and it does seem to be that that's the case, Trump could lose his life very soon because the protection, the armor of God that God has given him and protected his life thus far may go away all of a sudden. So it's something to watch. Huge revelations made and mainstream media is hiding them. DNC argues in court that they have the right to rig an election. That's on All News Pipeline. U.S. Coast Guard chief warns of Russian checkmate in the Arctic. That's on foreignpolicy.com. Okay, that's it for today's Diamond Report. Thanks for listening and watching. As always, if you don't like what I said, or you don't agree with me, or you don't like my sources, or you generally want to complain about anything, just keep it to yourself. I really don't care. I don't even want to waste my time listening to it. Nothing's saying that you have to like what I'm doing here. You can just tune it out. It's real easy. I'll see you tomorrow.